Hey YouTube, how's it going? First off and foremost, why does this shirt have a hood? I don't get the point. It looks ridiculous on me. I mean, it makes it look like I have no neck. And I don't really understand. I've never actually worn it. I just kind of realized that today when I was getting a hat ready, and I thought, well, I'm okay with looking a little ridiculous online, obviously. So why not wear a ridiculous hood? Anyway, news day! Huzzah! I suppose I'll start off on a more serious note. BP is testing a new cap that will go over their pipe in the Gulf of Mexico. There were a few things about the article, I read the one on Yahoo News, that kind of weirded me out about this. First off, it's a 75-ton cap! Holy cow! They make caps that we... Well, first off, what is this made out of? Second off, how big of a pipe are we talking here? I was thinking it was like, I mean, considering how much was leaking out, it makes sense, but I guess I was thinking more of a gash, not like an actual pipe. I mean, I'm trying to imagine how big of a hose they would have needed. Why would you have a pipe that, you know, I'm thinking it must have been like, you know, giant sequoia tree big. I mean, how big of a hole are we talking here? Second off, I don't know, maybe I'm just reading a little too into it, but this article, it kept saying that they need to be careful because they might be making an irreversible mistake. An irreversible mistake. So I guess that means that, you know, all the oil spilling into the Gulf and destroying the beaches and killing animals and really ruining the ecosystem isn't, you know, that big of a mistake. It isn't something that is irreversible, which eventually, sure, they'll get most of, well, some of the oil cleaned up, but the damages that they've done are going to last for years and years and years. I just feel like they could have thought of a better way to word this than they are worried all about making an irreversible mistake in the future. There was also an article about a dog in Pennsylvania that was trapped in a car for an hour in, you know, this 90-degree heat. So a common sense public service announcement: if it's hot out and you have pets, don't leave them in the car. The woman in the article, she like went shopping and then she took her groceries in but forgot that her dog was in the car. She's not being charged with any kind of abuse. It doesn't sound like. The article didn't mention anything. But the dog was like honking the horn of the car. The woman didn't notice that the dog was missing, that didn't remember that she had taken the dog. I don't know. I feel kind of bad for the poor pet. In Jerusalem, some archaeologists found a shard of writing that has some writing on it that is from what they are saying is the 14th century BC, and it's the oldest piece of writing they've ever found. It's just a tiny little fragment, so it doesn't say much, but they were able to decipher a few words. I think that they found you, them, and later. An invitation to a party later? If there's one person I'd like to be, right now it's Joan Ginther. I'd never heard of her until today, but this lady has won the lotto 4 times! She's won nearly $21 million. I'm jealous. The article said that the chances of winning the lotto 4 times, the big lotto 4 times, is 1 in 18 septillion. That's an 18 followed by 24 zeros. Seems she's a little hard to find because they had no interviews from her except one that sounded like it might be fake, of her complaining about an airline a couple years ago. Not gonna lie, if I had that kind of money, I definitely would not be finding that many things to complain about with my life. That was only one case of her sounding mean, though. The people who are from the town she's from say that she actually is really cool, and she donates stuff to charity, and she bought a church a bus and donated her house when she moved away. So, I mean, she's probably actually pretty chill. And finally, in Brazil, they're trying to pass a law right now that will ban parents being allowed to spank their kids. Now, this is an issue I actually do kind of have an opinion on. Weird, I know. I was spanked as a kid. not often. You know, I'm totally against child abuse. If you're leaving bruises, if you're leaving marks, that's too much. But if I did something really horrible, then yeah, I would get a few swats on the behind. The worst part was the fear, because in my family you had to put your hands on the wall, and you couldn't look behind you, and then you had to wait, and then finally, swat, swat, you're done. However, I can understand that that line can grow a little hazy between a swat and a smack and a beat. So a lot of countries have been trying to ban spanking recently. So yeah, I'm realizing that my news episodes are focused more around articles that have catchy titles or are a little more, they're not as important. I'm not talking about the big things, but, you know, I don't really like politics, so I'm not going to talk that much about politics, in all honesty. I'm going to talk about what interests me. That's the nice thing about having your own blog, right? My name is Keps, and I approve this message.